Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the most important battle you will ever fight in your entire life. It's not against your boss. It's not against your past. It's not against society, the economy, or the people who doubted you. The real fight is you versus you. Every single day there are two voices inside you. One voice wants comfort, excuses, and the easy way out. The other voice wants growth, discipline, and greatness. Success is decided by which voice you listen to consistently. Life doesn't punish you for who you are today. It rewards you for who you become through the decisions you make moment by moment. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack control over their own mind. The biggest prison you will ever live in is the story you keep telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. Change the story, and you change your life. When you wake up tired and still take action, that's you winning. When fear shows up and you move forward anyway, that's you winning. When you stop waiting for motivation and start relying on standards, that's you winning. Growth happens when discomfort becomes familiar and excuses become unacceptable. Your past does not define you. Your failures do not define you. What defines you is the meaning you attach to those experiences and the actions you take next. You don't need a new life. You need a new identity. Decide who you are today and then back that decision with massive action. Remember this, you will never outperform your own self-image. Raise the standard of how you see yourself and your behavior will rise to meet it. This is not about perfection. This is about progress. This is about choosing discipline over regret and courage over comfort. At the end of your life, the question will not be, did I beat everyone else? The real question will be, did I become everything I was capable of becoming? And the answer to that question is decided today, right now, in this moment. Because the real opponent is not out there, it's you versus you. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest battle you will ever fight is not with another person, not with circumstances, not with the world outside you. The greatest battle is internal. It's the fight between who you are right now and who you know you are capable of becoming. Every single day, this battle shows up quietly in your thoughts, in your habits, and in the choices you make when no one is watching. Most people spend their entire lives trying to win external battles while losing the internal war that actually determines everything. See, the outside world only responds to what's happening inside you. If you're constantly blaming people, situations, or bad luck, you're giving away your power. The moment you realize that your real opponent is your own fear, your own excuses, and your own limiting beliefs, everything changes. Because now, the game is in your control. You are no longer a victim of life. You become the creator of it. That internal battle shows up when your alarm goes off and your mind tells you to stay comfortable instead of getting up. It shows up when you say you want success, but your habits don't match that desire. It shows up when fear whispers that you're not good enough, not ready, or not deserving. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. That voice never disappears. Winners don't silence it. They act in spite of it. The reason this battle is so powerful is because you can't run from it. You can change jobs, cities, relationships, even countries. But you take your mind with you everywhere you go. If you don't master what's happening inside, no external success will ever be enough. You'll achieve something and still feel empty, because the real conflict was never resolved. When you win internally, everything externally begins to align. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build by keeping promises to yourself. Strength is not about muscles or money. It's about self-control. Discipline is simply choosing what you want most over what you want now. Each small internal victory rewires who you believe you are as who you believe you are. The moment you decide that you will no longer negotiate with your excuses, that's the moment your life shifts. Because once you win the battle within, no external obstacle is ever big enough to stop you. Ladies and gentlemen, your decisions are shaping your identity whether you are aware of it or not. Every choice you make, especially the small ones, is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. You don't wake up one day confident, successful, or disciplined. You become that person through repeated decisions made day after day. The problem is most people underestimate how powerful their daily choices really are. When you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," that decision doesn't just delay action. It reinforces an identity of avoidance. When you push through resistance and take action anyway, you are not just completing a task. You are training your brain to see yourself as someone who follows through. Identity is not built by motivation or inspiration. It is built by evidence, and the evidence comes from your decisions. Your future is not created by one massive breakthrough moment. It's created by thousands of small, ordinary decisions made consistently over time. What you eat, how you speak to yourself, how you respond to stress, what you do when you feel tired or afraid. These moments seem insignificant, but they are shaping the direction of your life. Success is not an event, it's a pattern. Most people want a better life, but keep making decisions that align with their old identity. They say they want growth, but they choose comfort. They say they want confidence, but they avoid discomfort. You can't live one way and expect a different result. The moment you change your decisions, you begin to change your identity. And when your identity changes, your results follow automatically. Here's the empowering truth. You are always one decision away from a different life. One decision to stop tolerating what drains you. One decision to raise your standards. One decision to act even when you don't feel ready. Those decisions, repeated over time, create momentum, changes everything. Your past decisions may explain where you are today, but they do not control where you go next. You are not trapped by who you've been. You are shaped by what you choose now. The strongest people in the world are not the ones with the easiest lives. They are the ones who learn to make empowering decisions in difficult moments. The moment you take ownership of your choices, you take ownership of your future. And from that moment on, every decision becomes a tool, shaping not just what you do, but who you become. But over time, they quietly destroy potential. An excuse is simply a story we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. It sounds logical, reasonable, even responsible, but its real purpose is to keep us safe, comfortable, and unchanged. Freedom does not come from avoiding pain, it comes from mastering it. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you reinforce a pattern that limits your future. Comfort feels good now, but it always comes with a cost later. Discipline feels hard now, but it pays you back with confidence, pride, and control. Most people want the results of discipline without the lifestyle of discipline. And that's where frustration is born. You cannot negotiate with your habits and expect a different outcome. Excuses show up when you're tired, overwhelmed, or afraid. They say you deserve a break. This isn't the right time, or I'll start when things are easier. But here's the truth, things rarely get easier before you get stronger. Discipline is choosing to do what needs to be done even when your emotions are screaming for relief. It's not about being extreme, it's about being consistent. Discipline creates freedom because it puts you back in control. When you discipline your time, you gain more of it. When you discipline your mind, you gain clarity. When you discipline your body, you gain energy. The people who appear the most free in life are often the most disciplined behind the scenes. They are not controlled by moods, impulses, or external circumstances. They are guided by standards. Regret is far more painful than discipline. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts for years. Every excuse you accept today becomes a limitation you carry into tomorrow. Every disciplined action you take becomes evidence that you can trust yourself. And trust in yourself is one of the most powerful forces on earth. Discipline is built in small moments. It's choosing to show up when no one is watching. It's doing the work when motivation is gone. It's saying no to distractions that steal your future. Over time, these small choices compound into massive results. You stop seeing discipline as sacrifice and start seeing it as liberation. The moment you stop asking, "How do I feel?" and start asking, "What does my future require?" your life begins to shift. Because when excuses lose their power, discipline takes its place, and with it comes real freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, fear is not a signal to stop, it is a signal that growth is near. Most people wait for fear to disappear before they act, but that day never comes. Fear does not vanish through thinking, planning, or waiting. Fear dissolves through movement. The moment you take action, fear begins to lose its grip. Action is the antidote. Fear exists to protect you, not to guide your destiny. It exaggerates risk and minimizes reward. It shows you everything that could go wrong while ignoring everything that could go right. If you listen to fear, you stay small. If you move through fear, you expand. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding that something else matters more than fear. Every breakthrough in your life sits on the other side of an uncomfortable action. The first phone call, the first step, the first attempt, it's always the hardest. Your mind will create worst-case scenarios to keep you safe, but safety and growth rarely live in the same place. Confidence is not built by waiting to feel ready. Confidence is built by doing the thing before you feel ready. When you act despite fear, something powerful happens inside you. You prove to yourself that fear does not control you. Each time you take action, fear shrinks and belief grows. This is how strong identities are built, through repeated acts of courage in moments of uncertainty. Fear doesn't go away completely, but it stops being the boss. Most people let fear decide their future. They avoid speaking up, starting over, taking risks, or pursuing what they truly want. Not because they can't do it, but because fear convinces them not to try. Action breaks that pattern. Even imperfect action creates momentum, and momentum changes how you think and feel. Waiting for the perfect moment is another form of fear in disguise. There is no perfect time, only decisive moments. The longer you hesitate, the louder fear becomes. The faster you move, the weaker it gets. Speed is your ally. Movement creates clarity. Fear loses power the moment you stop negotiating with it. When you decide that fear is allowed to come along but not allowed to drive, your life expands. Action rewires your nervous system, retrains your mind, and reshapes your future. The fastest way to silence fear is to take the next small step. Not tomorrow, not when you feel confident. Now, because action doesn't wait for fear to leave. Action is what makes fear leave. Ladies and gentlemen, the way you see yourself determines the way you live your life. Your self-image is the internal blueprint that guides your behavior, your decisions, and your results. You will never consistently act beyond the level of the person you believe you are. If you see yourself as limited, you will play small. If you see yourself as capable, resilient, and strong, your actions will rise to meet that belief. Most people try to change their lives without changing how they see themselves. They set goals, chase success, and search for motivation, but deep down they still identify with their old story. And that old story always pulls them back. Your self-image is not changed by wishful thinking, it is changed by experience and repetition. What you do repeatedly becomes who you believe you are. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-image strengthens. Strengthens. Every time you break one, it weakens. That's why confidence is built through action, not affirmation alone. Words can inspire you, but behavior convinces you. When you consistently do hard things, you start to see yourself as someone who can handle hard things. That identity shift is everything. Your environment also plays a powerful role in shaping your self-image. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, and the standards you accept all send signals to your brain about who you are. When you tolerate disrespect, chaos, or mediocrity, you reinforce an identity that accepts less than you deserve. When you raise your standards, you raise your self-respect. Self-image acts like a thermostat. If you achieve something beyond what you believe you deserve, your behavior will unconsciously pull you back down to familiar levels. That's why lasting change requires identity-level change. You don't just need better habits, you need a stronger sense of self. The most powerful question you can ask yourself is, what would the best version of me do in this moment? When you act from that identity, even in small ways, your self-image begins to shift. Over time, those small identity-based actions compound into a completely different life. Just so. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your doubts. You are the person you repeatedly choose to be. The moment you upgrade how you see yourself, you upgrade how you live. And once your self-image rises, your results have no choice but to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, winning is not a one-time event. It is a daily decision. The greatest transformations do not come from dramatic moments, but from consistent choices made over time. Every day, life presents you with a simple question. Will you choose growth or will you choose comfort? Will we choose comfort? Most people choose what feels easy in the moment and then wonder why their life stays the same. Growth often looks boring. It looks like routines, repetition, and showing up even when you don't feel inspired. Comfort, on the other hand, is seductive. It promises relief now but steals progress later. When you consistently choose growth, Even in small ways, you begin to build momentum. And momentum is powerful because it carries you forward when motivation fades. Progress is not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing the right things consistently. Some days you will win big. Other days the win is simply not quitting. Even getting back on track after a setback is a victory. People who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. Daily wins stack up, and over time they create massive change. Choosing growth means being willing to feel uncomfortable on purpose. It means having hard conversations, staying disciplined, learning from mistakes, and facing truth instead of avoiding it. Comfort avoids pain, but growth uses pain as a teacher. Every challenge carries a lesson, and every lesson strengthens you if you're willing to learn. When you focus on growth, you stop comparing yourself to others. The only comparison that matters is who you were yesterday. Improvement, not perfection, becomes the goal. This mindset removes pressure and replaces it with purpose. Each day becomes an opportunity to be slightly better, slightly stronger, slightly more intentional. The regret of staying the same is far heavier than the discomfort of growth. Comfort keeps you stuck in familiar patterns, while growth opens doors you didn't even know existed. The more you choose growth, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever comes next. At the end of each day, it comes down to simple choices. Did you lean into discomfort or run from it? Did you take responsibility or make excuses? Did you move forward or stay still? When growth becomes your standard, winning becomes inevitable. One decision, one day at a time.